Finance Committee meeting.
I move approval.
Any discussion? Questions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Next item, public appearances, non-agenda items. I don't see anybody in chambers. No one on Zoom either. Okay, very good. Item 4, Finance Director Report, Treasurer's Report as of March 31st, 2021. Misty, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, so we'll start with the treasurer's report. So that is in your packet through March. One of the weird things is we have a balance again for the tax collection fund because a couple years ago we changed it. So we get the money from the state for the lottery credit and the school credit, and then we hold on to it for about a month, and then I distribute it to all of the overlying jurisdictions. So it crossed that period there. So that was fairly unique. Otherwise, we're continuing to reinvest our money at very, very, very low rates in comparison to what matured. So our interest revenue is just continuing to decline, but it's the market that we're in right now. And then I did send out the revised February report after the last time we did it. Gabriella, you noticed that it was fully in the wrong months. So that is updated out on the website with the correct report, and I had emailed it to you guys, and then this one's out there too. So any questions? Otherwise, I have other stuff to report on too.
Any questions? Hearing none, I'll go ahead.
Okay. A couple of meetings ago, I talked about the water disconnection process and about how the numbers were about the same as what they were pre-COVID. We did our 24-hour tags for disconnection recently, and those numbers were actually quite a bit higher than what they've been in the past. So usually we're at 95 to 100 24-hour tags. This time we were at 136. So that number was a little bit more, meaning there's a few more customers that we needed to work with to get payment. But we have not disconnected anybody yet as far as I'm aware. And then the ARPA, or the American Rescue Plan Act dollars, that's that $3.2 million we're expecting to get from the feds to help address COVID. I learned from the Department of Revenue on Friday of a couple different documents that we have to sign. Learned today that they are due June 18th. So I'm going to take care of getting that funding on behalf of the city, but the council will still take care of determining how that money is spent. I'm just going to do the paperwork to get it in our hands. So we should have that money once I hit that deadline by the end of June. So it's nice to see that it's actually going to get to us now. It's not just in the ethers. But still awaiting for final guidance. Everything is still interim as far as how we can spend it at this point. That is all I have.
We do have a question, Gabriella.
And I'm not sure if you can answer this, Misty, but in terms of the water cutoffs, do we offer relief or payment plans or people that they can avoid shut off but work through the debt in whatever way works best for them?
Yep, so we do offer deferred payment arrangements, or DPAs. Anybody that calls, we're more than happy to work with them. And then we also have just a blurb that we share. There's a lot of other resources available throughout the state, through the Tenant Resource Center and other different sources like that people could try to get some relief from. So we kind of point them in the direction of other programs that are available. But then it's up to the customer to follow through on that and determine if they're eligible and what paperwork has to be applied. But as far as the payment arrangements, 100%, we absolutely do work with people. And as long as they meet the payment arrangements, we don't disconnect.
Great. And is there, and there's like multiple points of contact with them prior to the action of cutting off the water?
Correct.
Okay.
So obviously the quarterly bills go out. We also have a notice, a mailed notice that goes out, and then the 24-hour tags that I'm talking about are actually tags that go on people's doors.
Okay.
I'm letting them know that this is where we're at in the process. So yes.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Any further questions? All right, moving on. Item 5, review of bills. Detailed review of checks for $10,000 and above, May 16th through 31st, 2021, totaling $867,108.44. Are there any questions? Hearing none, moving on. Detailed review of all checks issued, checks 122164 through 122207, May 16th through 31st, 2021, totaling $912,504.18. Are there any questions? Any comment, Misty? Nope, not at all. Item 5C, detailed review of ACH payments for $10,000 and above, May 1st through the 31st, 2021, totaling, well, I see $0, so,
I can comment on that one. So rather than people thinking we forgot about it,
Right.
we wanted to put it on there, just make it clear it's zero. Although there is a timing issue in here, some of our workflow processes were delayed, so there'll be more things on June that normally would have been on May.
very good. Next item, detailed review of all ACH payments, May 1st through the 31st, 2021, totaling $14,950.12. Questions? Hearing none. Item 5E, detailed review of P-card transactions for $10,000 and above for the cycle ending May 6, 2021, totaling $114,618.02. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none. The last item, review of P-card transactions for the cycle ending May 6, 2021, totaling $247,514.12. Questions from the committee? Hearing none, we'll move on to the action items. Action item 6A, road construction update, and I believe we have Director of Public Works Engineering, Bill Bulkey. Want to speak to the item? Go ahead.
Good evening. Just wanted to bring you up to date on a few projects that we have going on in Fitchburg. Our Hatchery Road project. We are looking to do some paving on that starting next week, so the blacktop will start going down. And then we're looking to, weather dependent, switch the traffic over to the new pavement beginning around the 4th of July. So hopefully by the end of the month, weather depending, you'll be moving on the new pavement out there. Budget-wise, we're at about 55% of the construction budget, so we're on track. There's been no major contingencies that we've had to dip into. There were a few, but we do have about $1.45 million set aside for contingency, and I think we've spent about $300,000 to $400,000 of that, and those were kind of, we knew about those contingencies that we needed to do those, but there wasn't anything out of the normal that we've seen so far with our contingencies. Street lighting, we ordered some street lights about, 7 months ago, and we're finally going to start to see those coming in, so we're going to start to get those up along Hatchery Road, so we'll be shutting down the outside lanes of the new area that's been paved and installing those street lights up there. So they'll be starting up there north of Greenway Cross and working their way south as the poles come in and they get them assembled. So the Northeast Water Main project is wrapping up as far as the installation of the water main. That was along West Clayton Road and County Highway MM between McCoy Road and Terravesa, essentially. So that project is wrapping up, and now they're going to start the next phase of that, which would be the paving of the roadway on West Clayton Road. There's an item on the agenda tonight for a change order on that road, so you'll be seeing that and acting on that tonight. The road resurfacing project, we opened up bids today on that, and we were about $200,000 under our engineer's estimates, so that was good news. So we've got some spare change. We might be using some of it for the Clayton Road project, so that was kind of a relief, but at least it'll put a little more cushion in what we have for reserves there. We are opening up the bids for the Cyene Road water main extension tomorrow, and there will be special assessments for those properties along there. That's a project for water main extension between Aurora Avenue and about 200 feet north of Hilltop Drive. So all the properties along there will be receiving their assessment notice later this week. or it'll be mailed out this week for the public hearing that will happen at the Board of Public Works on June 21st and be acted on by the council or accepted on June 22nd. So that's coming up. The pickleball courts, been close to paving over there. We've got it all graded out. They're finishing up the grading on that, so we should be seeing some asphalt there soon. Then they got to put the fence up, and that project will be a wrap. Subdivisions, Stoner Prairie over and Crescent Crossing, that's over at the intersection of Seminole Highway and Lacey Road. In that area there, they're looking to start the paving of that. So once that goes down, they'll be looking to sell the lots out there for those phases. We received a request to start the last phase of Crescent Crossing, which was the bottom of the horseshoe, finishing up that. So they'll be starting that later this summer through the winter, so they can have the sale of lots next year on those. Fahey Fields is looking to start in the near future. That's the last phase of the original plat of 130 some lots that they were developing in that area. So that's they're looking to start that and have those lots ready for sale in the fall. I think that's all the notes I had time to write down, but if you can think of anything else as far as construction, or I'm here to help you with that.
I do have a couple questions regarding Clayton Road. Is it something that you just came across as far as that the actual road bed was not in good condition? Is that, or would you normally look at, I'll say what I'll call potholing, just to find out what the bed structure looks like and in anticipation of maybe having to rebuild that? Just out of curiosity from an engineering standpoint, how does that work in with your project? I mean,
typically with our road projects and the resurfacing that we do, the road base supports, and we do have a certain amount of contingency built into the estimate for over excavating the subbase. Usually it's 25 to 30%, but in this case it's significantly more. And so this was just one of those areas. It's an older road. It wasn't built to what we have for standards now, and we just got to invest a little bit more to get it back up to snuff.
Sure. And then my second question is regarding the signing assessments. I'm guessing that there will be some type of document going out with the assessment of explaining to the homeowner of what the assessment is for. I mean, I'm guessing that would be standard procedure, and just want to clarify, because we have two alders here on the Finance Committee that I'm sure constituents will be reaching out to. Is there a document that goes with the assessment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the preliminary assessment that you'll be acting on tonight. Instructs the Director of Public Works or the city engineer to prepare a report and to file it on with the city clerk, prepare notices for public hearing, and send that notice and the report to the property owners. So I can give you an example of what the report is typically looks like. It's a 6-page document sometimes, and so I can provide that for everyone just as an example of what's going on.
If you could, and I know I can go out on the website as well, and I'm sure I've seen it. I just want to make sure all of our bases are covered. All right, thank you. Are there any additional questions? No? Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Let's move on to our additional action items under 6B. Motion to approve Resolution R-107-21, authorizing KL Engineering Contract Amendment Number 4 for Fish Hatchery Road Design and Construction Inspection.
So moved.
And Bill, are you addressing this, or Misty? Bill?
Yeah, I can do this.
Okay, all right.
Back in 2019 of July of that year, we had approved an amendment to the contract for the construction engineering for KL Engineering to do the construction engineering on Fish Hatchery Road. At the time, we had anticipated that the project would be a 1-year project with a little bit of contingency in 21 to finish the project up. When we received the bids for that project, they were like 20% over what we had estimated. And we revisited and rebid the project and split the project into 2 years. So we knew that we would need a full year of construction engineering in 2020 and in 2021. But with the previous amendment number 3, we only had a partial year in 21. Last year during the CIP process, we put in the money to fully cover the cost of inspection in 2021 and a portion of 2022. And this is the amendment that would go along with that CIP request. So this is an amendment to complete the full construction in 21 and a portion of 22, and a little bit of contingency in there for what we had run into from last year that we're projecting into 22.
And from my understanding and conversation with you yesterday, Misty, we're still within budget on that with this particular item.
Yes.
Yeah, very good, thank you. Other further discussion, questions? Gabriella?
Just a quick comment. I appreciated KL Engineering's detailed documents, and I also appreciated getting the letters from the previous amendments so that we had that full context, because I haven't been around for all of these resolutions. So that was very helpful. So I appreciated the detail in the packet.
Nothing further? Okay. Hearing no further discussion, let's take the motion to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. The motion passes. Moving on to 6C, Resolution R-108-21, adopting the 2022 annual city budget schedule.
I move approval.
And who will be speaking to this evening?
That'll be me.
Okay.
So in the packet is a draft schedule. It's very similar to last year. There's 2 exceptions, and what I always do at the bottom of the schedule is kind of point out those things that are significantly different from the year before. So there's 2 differences. One is we return to kind of the normal finance committee timing. Last year there were 5 weeks in one of those months, so we were able to change it around a little bit. This schedule goes back to our more traditional schedule for finance committee presentations. And then we also aligned the release of the mayor's budget with when we get those health insurance premium numbers. For those of you that were here last year, one of the big numbers that we're always waiting for is health insurance. And so rather than putting out a document without knowing that and using an estimate, because of all the moving pieces this year, we thought it better to wait until those numbers are out there and then put out a document that had a solid number incorporated instead. So those are the 2 significant changes. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same.
Very good, very good. Any questions from the committee? Gabriella?
Just a comment. I appreciate keeping the finance committee presentations over 2 days, because I remember last year we thought about moving to 1 day, and I was very happy that we had 2 days last year. So I think that's a good call. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, I will put the motion to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes. Okay. The next item on the agenda, 6D. Motion to approve Resolution R-115-21, authorizing construction contract change order for the 2020 street and parks improvement. This is a direct referral. Who will be speaking to this? Bill? Okay, go ahead, Bill. Oh, wait a minute, I need a approval or a motion.
So moved.
So moved. Okay. I was going to say second, but it's not. Go ahead now, Bill.
All right. Yeah, as we had briefly discussed earlier about West Clayton Road, the pavement structure that was out there is not adequate to rebuild it. And we do have a certain amount of contingency in the roadway resurfacing project to account for that. But as you know, some of the pictures you've seen out there, it's a lot worse than we anticipated. So in order to keep the contractor going, and the change order is more than $5,000, we have to bring this before council. And so we estimated what it would be to reconstruct the roadway with additional aggregate and base underneath to make it more stable. And this was our ballpark estimate as to what it would cost. Hopefully, we won't need all of that. We'll find some pockets of good area because the clay area goes up and down. It's thicker and thinner, so we may not need all of that, but we did estimate for the entire length of the project.
Very good. Any questions from the committee? Gabriella?
Just one comment. I just really appreciated the photographs. That was very helpful in terms of understanding the scope of the problem. So love when that can be included at any time because I can't always make it over to the locations before I vote. So thank you.
No, nothing? No further discussion, hearing none. All those, I'll put it to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries, passes, excuse me. Six E, Resolution R-121-21, resolution to support a 2021 Dane County Parks PARC and RIDE grant program application for North Fish Hatchery Road Hub Phase 1, requesting Dane County exercise its municipal park powers within Fitchburg. Direct referral.
I move approval.
And Misty, you're going to be addressing?
Yep, this is very similar to something you saw at the last meeting, but for a different grant program. So this is a Dane County grant that we actually have already applied for. We got permission from the mayor to do that, but this resolution from council supporting that application is a unique requirement of this particular grant. So while we've already applied for it, we can still amend the application to include this support from council. The purpose of this grant is to help support the bike playground that's planned for the Hub Phase 1.
Okay, very good. Any questions from the committee? Go ahead.
Thanks. So the $75,000, that's included in the whole hub project? Okay.
Yes, so back in the CIP, when we were planning for the Hub project, we had always intended to apply for various grant funding to help supplement the cost. So this is one of them that was planned from the beginning. The match requirement that the city has is already incorporated into that overall project as well.
I don't hear any additional questions. All right, moving forward. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. The motion passes. And 6F on our agenda, action items this evening. Motion to approve Resolution R-122-21, preliminary assessment resolution for the Greenfield Water Main Extension Improvements, direct referral. And Bill, Misty.
Motion first.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Moving so fast here. Thank you. Now, who do we get to speak to this? Bill.
Bill.
I see. Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you. As mentioned, this is a preliminary assessment, or a resolution for a preliminary assessment, which directs the staff to prepare a report regarding the assessments for the project. This is a water main extension from Aurora Avenue down to a little bit north of Hilltop Drive, in which we will be installing a water main between the two areas to reduce or increase our redundancy for the system, increase reliability to the neighborhood. And as part of that, the neighbors or the properties adjacent to there will be required to connect up to there if they're on a well. They can still use their well, provided that they have safe wells and provide the report, the inspection reports as needed. But they will be assessed for the water main connection to their property that we will be putting in, the lateral to them. The report will be sent out in 10 days prior to the public hearing. The public hearing will be on June 21st, and the council will consider acting on or approving the report on June 22nd. So those reports will be sent out within 10 days of the hearing, and this is a typical project or assessment process that we would use for paying for a portion of the water main extensions.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Is there any discussion, questions? Go ahead, Jim.
So, Bill, how current must the inspection report be?
I'll have to look on that. I think it's an annual submission that they have to submit to the city. It might be every 2 years. I have to look at the ordinance.
Gabriella, any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Can you clarify, is this project being fully assessed to the neighbors that'll benefit, or is the city taking on part of the cost?
The city is taking on a part of the cost. It wouldn't be the full amount.
Okay. And is this in the, I guess this is probably already budgeted. I just haven't had a chance to look it up. Okay.
The question I have is now you're providing the lateral and then the property owner does not have to connect, but they're still assessed the value. I mean, is there a time limit as to when they must connect, or that could go for years?
I believe it could go for years. I don't think we have in our ordinance a mandatory connection date.
Okay. All right. Okay, very good. Any further questions? Hearing none, I'll put the motion to a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries, passes. Announcements. The next meeting is June 22nd, 2021, and we have a finance staff CIP presentation on June 14th, 2021 at 6 p.m. And that is a Monday, by the way, next Monday, so here in Chambers. Any other questions, announcements before I motion to adjourn? All right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Very good. Are those all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We are adjourning at 4:57